for him. I know Canelo. I'm Mexican. You know, I was in my career. You know, growing up as a Mexican fighter, I know the goods and bads of a Mexican fighter, and I know Canelo, and I knew Canelo's weaknesses and how you can frustrate him. You frustrate Canelo, you'll be.
It's a fight that most of the people don't give Crawford a chance because of the size, but he's got skills, man. He's got skills. He's got good speed, good footwork. That's why I do give him a chance.
You do give Crawford.
I do give Crawford.
When the best minds in boxing start breaking down a mega fight, you listen. And in the case of Terence Bud, Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, the message is loud and clear. Skill beats size, and Crawford has the skills. From Mexican legends to elite analysts and former champions, the consensus is forming: Crawford isn't just a contender in this fight, he might be the favorite. In today's breakdown, we'll unpack 10 explosive insights from top boxing pros who reveal exactly why and how Crawford can frustrate, outthink, and even dominate Canelo Alvarez. So, if you're tired of the lazy narrative that size always wins, buckle in. This is BoxiHub. Subscribe now, hit that bell icon, and let's dig into what the experts are saying.
For him, I know Canelo. I'm Mexican. You know, I was in my career. You know, growing up as a Mexican fighter, I know the goods and bads of a Mexican fighter, and I know Canelo, and I knew Canelo's weaknesses and how you can frustrate him. You frustrate Canelo, you'll be.
One boxing pro with deep Mexican roots and intimate familiarity with Canelo's style offers a powerful insight. Canelo is a rhythm fighter who thrives on breaking you down. But if you break his rhythm, you break his focus. This expert highlights that Canelo's biggest weakness is frustration. When he can't get inside, when his opponents stay disciplined behind the jab and refuse to trade recklessly, he begins to show cracks. It's not often that you hear this kind of tactical vulnerability being attributed to Canelo, but it's very real. Crawford, with his IQ and movement, can create the kind of puzzle that drives Canelo crazy. He's not going to stand there like Plant or Smith. He'll touch, move, set traps, and control the distance. This is a game of inches and mental sharpness, and if Crawford frustrates Canelo early, that could spiral into a very long night for the Mexican legend.
Get these together in the gym. You know, we started working on it. And one of the main keys was keep jabbing him, keep jabbing him, keep jabbing him. Don't stop jabbing. That's what Canelo always tries to hit you in the arm.
When asked about preparing Canelo, the same pro gave a golden detail. The jab is the weapon that keeps Canelo from setting his power shots. Canelo loves to target arms and break fighters down over time, but if you're consistently jabbing and moving, he can't get set. Crawford's jab isn't just a tool, it's a statement. He uses it to disrupt rhythm, manage distance, and set traps. Fighters who have frustrated Canelo before, like Mayweather and Bivol, use the jab like a shield and a spear. Crawford's version is even more dangerous because it's unpredictable. He can double or triple it, change levels, or immediately follow up with sharp counters. If Crawford commits to the jab early and doesn't let Canelo walk him down, he'll control the tempo, and that changes everything.
I know facial expressions. When Canelo was trying to get in it and he couldn't get in, his tried and coming back, and he started making different. I said, you know what? He's frustrated. Keep jabbing him. Keep him away. There was a point where they wanted to send Bivol to knock out Canelo. No. Stop. Let's keep him where he is, because one knockdown will take the fight away from us.
Body language speaks louder than words in boxing, and according to the boxing pro, Canelo's frustration is written all over his face when things don't go his way. During sparring and fights, he starts to telegraph that frustration. He breathes heavier, his expression hardens. He begins throwing wide shots. Crawford, a cerebral tactician, will notice every micro change. This section reminds us that the mental game is half the fight. If Crawford remains calm, sticks to the plan, and makes Canelo chase shadows, he'll see those visual cues, and when Canelo gets visibly frustrated, it means Crawford is winning. Not just rounds, but the psychological war. That's how fights are stolen from champions, not by brawling, but by breaking their minds.
It's a fight that most of the people don't give Crawford a chance because of the size, but he's got skills, man. He's got skills. He's got good speed, good footwork. That's why I do give him a chance.
You do give
I do give Crawford.
Robert Garcia nails the reality check. People doubt Crawford simply because of the size gap. But that's lazy analysis. Garcia, who's trained world champions, emphasizes that Crawford has world-class speed, footwork, and fight IQ. And that gives him a real shot. Size only matters when the skill levels are equal. And they're not. Crawford's advantage lies in his mobility, reflexes, and the ability to make adjustments mid-fight. Canelo has struggled with mobile fighters who don't just walk into his power. And Crawford might be the most fluid switch hitter Canelo has ever faced. Garcia's words remind us that boxing isn't about who looks bigger, it's about who thinks faster and strikes cleaner.
It's hard to say because it depends on the Canelo that comes out, you know, like the Canelo that fought Triple G in the second one. I thought that was probably the best Canelo that I've seen to date, but the Canelo that I've seen in recent years hasn't been the Canelo from the Triple G days, so that's what it's all about. But then again, Crawford's like 38 years old, but he's still fresh and he hasn't been hit.
Tim Zhu adds nuance to the conversation. He admits that Canelo at his peak, like in the GGG rematch, was a monster, aggressive, sharp, and determined, but he also admits that the Canelo of recent years hasn't been that same beast. Age, miles, and a growing comfort in his legacy have slowed him just a bit. Crawford, though older in age, hasn't been in wars, and he still looks fresh. That contrast matters. This fight is all about timing, and CU subtly suggests that the stars may have aligned at the right moment for Crawford, when he's peaking mentally and physically, and Canelo may be slightly past his prime.
I think he's just become predictable, you know. He's got these certain shots and he's used his brute force and physical strength to just bully everyone, you know. But right now, in front of him, it's not someone that you can use your strength against because he's very, very smart.
TU doubles down by stating what many fans have started to see. Canelo has become a bit too predictable. His combinations, his movement, his traps, they're all familiar now. And against a guy like Crawford, that's a problem. Bud thrives against predictable fighters. He lures them in, studies their habits, and then breaks them apart with surgical precision. Canelo's style of walking opponents down, relying on timing and brute strength, won't work if the opponent keeps changing looks. Crawford will give him new angles, keep him off balance, and if Canelo doesn't adapt, he'll find himself swinging at air or walking into traps.
If you had to put a percentage on it, 50-50, 60-40 Crawford, 70-30 Canelo.
Yeah.
What do you put on it, Tim?
I would go 65% Crawford.
It's telling that Tim Tszyu, a respected current pro, gives Crawford a 65% edge in this fight. That's not a small number, it's a declaration. Tszyu sees in Crawford a unique blend of mental sharpness, physical finesse, and championship hunger. And he sees in Canelo a great fighter who's starting to rely more on presence than precision. Crawford, who's still hungry and obsessed with proving himself, could use that contrast to dominate the bout. When a fighter with everything to lose fights a man who already has everything, the fire tends to burn brighter for the underdog.
No, bro, I know Crawford, and he's different. And see, the only thing different here is Canelo is not a bigger guy at that weight. He's not like he's standing 6'1", 6'2", like Bivol or one of those guys. So on fight night, the size is not going to be the main thing, the most important thing. It's going to be skill set.
Antonio Tarver cuts through the noise. Size won't matter if the skill difference is wide enough. Canelo may look thicker, may punch harder, but he's not taller, not rangier, and he's not slicker. And as Tarver points out, Crawford's style is built to dissect brute force brawlers. On fight night, the man with the sharper mind and quicker feet will control the pace. Tarver recognizes that, and he sees in Crawford a talent that transcends the usual rules. Size may intimidate fans on posters, but in the ring, it's the decisions you make in milliseconds that decide victory.
Both of them coming with their skill set. But what I haven't seen lately is the opponents that Canelo is facing. Those guys aren't going to get him ready for a guy like that.
Carver continues with a harsh truth. Canelo hasn't fought anyone lately who prepares him for Bud. The last few names on Canelo's resume have not been mobile, tactical, or unorthodox. And that's what Crawford brings, the element of chaos and strategy combined. Fighting someone like Crawford is not about power, it's about stamina, mental toughness, and adaptability. Canelo's recent opponents have allowed him to dictate the fight, but Crawford won't, and that could shock Canelo into a style he hasn't needed to use in years and may not remember how to.
I still think I give Crawford a chance even then. So that's what type of talent I think Crawford is. He's definitely going to have to get used to that power. If he can take Canelo power,
Carver closes with the million-dollar question. Can Crawford take the power? That's the only real X factor, because if he can survive the early storm, he can slowly drown Canelo in rounds and rhythm. Tarver believes he can. And if that's true, if Crawford can eat a few shots, stay composed, and keep his game plan intact, he wins. That's how great fighters win, not by being untouchable, but by absorbing adversity and outlasting the storm. If Bud can take that signature Canelo punch, the rest of the night is his to dominate. 10 quotes, 10 experts, one truth: size doesn't beat skill. On fight night, it won't be about who has the bigger muscles, it'll be about who can think faster, move smarter, and adjust quicker. Canelo may be the icon, but Crawford is the technician, the tactician, and the true danger in this fight. And if he executes his plan the way these boxing pros expect him to, Crawford may not just win, he may make it look easy. Keep it locked right here at BoxiHub, your home for elite fight breakdowns. Like, comment, and subscribe. Who do you think wins? Crawford or Canelo? Let us know down below.